everybody is born with a little something extra, and sometimes they just have to find it. A little something extra is that superpower that every single one of us has inside that motivates us and drives our passion and makes us do the things that we do.
We're all on the same team. Let's think about how we can make that team as inclusive as we can.
For those of you listening to our podcast right now, you can also check out our video podcast at alittlesomethingextrapodcast.org.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of A Little Something Extra with me, Nancy Gianni, and my daughter.
The teacher of just Playhouse.
Woo woo! And
the Franco, too.
And the me too. I'm here.
And the Franco, too.
In the
And,
flesh.
whoa, I know that GiGi has a pretty big announcement to make today. What did you...
What? Not yet.
Oh, you don't do it yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
Fine. I'll do it.
spoiler alert.
No,
There's
no,
no
I'll do
announcement.
it. No, I'll do it. It's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have my own book. It's called The GiGi Way.
No.
No. Sorry.
That's her other book is the GiGi Way.
Sorry, a GiGi Journey.
The Gigi's Journey is
Gigi's
out
Journey.
in our hands, and it's amazing.
So her book is officially out, girl.
Yep. The series is already in 1,500 schools across the country, and we're going to make it 15,000 schools across the country, aren't we? Yep. It's pretty amazing. So we'll send one to you guys. So since you were the first ones to see the reveal,
Yes,
we're going to have to get them one.
Congrats.
All right. So, Gigi, do you want to welcome our guests and give a little info on them?
Yes.
All right.
Today we are excited to be joined by Holly Siino and Claire Ramaley,
Woo!
co-leaders of the Fantastic Friends programs at GS Sacramento.
Woo, woo, woo!
Through the shared passion for advocacy and inclusion, they built a strong friendship, dedication to empowering culture and community.
Woo!
Holly Siino is a passionate advocate for individuals with Down syndrome and devoted board member at Joyce Playhouse, Sacramento. Her journey with the organization began through her personal connection to her sister Mia, and she has since evolved into a lifelong dedication.
I love it.
Claire Ramaley is dedicated volunteer at Joyce Playhouse, Sacramento, where she plays a key role in Fantastic Friends program. Welcome to Holly and Claire to the show.
Woo! Welcome, girls.
Good job, Gigi. Welcome.
Amazing. Thanks, guys. We're so happy to be here.
We're so happy to have you, and I'm excited just to get. I mean, when she said today, she started playing Mamma Mia when she realized that when she put the whole Mia thing
Mia's
together.
sister on.
Yeah, we were pretty excited about that.
Love it.
So you guys first met through volunteering at Gigi's, correct?
We did. Yeah. I had been involved in Gigi's Playhouse, Sacramento from the start, fundraising and the startup team and painting the walls,
Yeah, all of it.
and kind of was tapped to do the Fantastic Friends program, and got our first session a few weeks after we opened. And Claire came in as a volunteer, stepped right in, was just amazing.
So
kind
amazing.
of like, really getting in the mix of everything, no hesitation. And so I remember talking to my mom after, who's our program and volunteer coordinator, and saying, I think we got to get her. She's the one.
We got to reel her in.
Working for Special Olympics, this was right in her wheelhouse of just like working with people with disabilities. And so it was a right fit. So that's how we at first met, was through our Fantastic Friends program, and the rest is history, really.
Oh my gosh, that is beyond awesome. And then, were you both before Gigi's was around in Sacramento, were you guys already volunteering, or were you always lifelong volunteers, or how did you just get started volunteering, helping people?
Both my parents were special ed teachers growing up, and so I would go in their classrooms and hang out, and then I got really involved in volunteering with Special Olympics in college, and then moved back and just continued to be involved in things.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think for me, this is something my parents always emphasize, is that your community is important, and it's something to value. And so I've been stepping into different opportunities in the community through church and other organizations. Awesome. And so just being connected has always been important to me. And then once we opened our Playhouse in Sacramento, it was like another level of just having this amazing community around me to step into and contribute to. So
It's so cool. You meet like some of the most amazing people.
Always.
Oh my gosh. I said, through volunteering and through Gigi's, I have just, as being a parent, met some amazing parents. Our locations, out at our locations. Wait, what location was Sacramento's? What, you guys were like number 50 something?
Yeah, 54, I believe.
During COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
during
opening?
COVID.
Actually, when you guys opened, I remember that day they lifted the masks in Sacramento.
Yes.
The
remember?
mask mandates, yeah.
Because
It
we
was
were
like late 20 or mid 2021.
yeah,
Something like that. Yeah.
and you guys had
Mhm.
masks all along, and I remember
Remember that
it was
book came
so
too.
yes, it was so funny. We were like, oh, no masks, and there was a
Right.
there was a TJ Maxx right by our by our hotel. So of course we went shopping before the opening, and we go there, and it's our first time without masks in public.
It felt so weird.
And most people were still wearing them. And I
Sure.
remember I look up and I look in front, I'm like, oh my God, these people, they're about to, like, they came walking towards me, and I thought they were going to yell at us for wearing masks.
Not
And
wearing
they were
masks.
like, oh my God, is that Gigi Gianni? Wait, they recognized Gigi
From the podcast.
from the
Yeah.
podcast.
Which is the first time I even knew that we had listeners in this podcast.
Right?
Like, I thought we were just talking.
I remember that book came too. Remember?
And the what?
Book came. Remember?
And Brooke was there, of course.
Were you
Right,
guys
yeah.
at the grand opening that day?
I was, yeah. I don't think, were you?
No.
No.
You
you
weren't
came
there
a
yet.
bit
Yeah.
late.
That was an unbelievable grand
That was
opening. that you
unbelievable.
guys
Those
had.
people that we met at
Okay.
TJ Maxx, our fans, actually came.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was just
okay.
crazy because
Okay.
there was
Yeah.
so many people that showed up, and I remember there was being we were so unsure of what that response was going to look like because it was literally like right as COVID
Mid-COVID.
was kind of like taking a turn, being like, okay, now I think society could start coming back to normal.
Yeah,
a
but
little bit.
California was late on that one anyway.
Well, yeah, and it was just, we were just unsure, and it still had like
It was
it
massive.
was massive.
It was
Yeah.
massive. I know
Massive
we
opening.
felt the same fear of like what, like we got to take this risk. We know
Yeah.
it's important,
Yep.
right? We want this for our community, and just seeing that amount of people that showed up on that day and the excitement and the energy around it, I for one remember being like, this is important. This is big. Like
This is
we're
big.
doing something big here.
When you see a response like that, oh my gosh, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
so big.
And so with you guys doing the Fantastic Friends program, which for me is like my favorite program at GiGi's, not because I play favoritism, but I mean, I spent a lot of my time here working with our adults, and I was working in Hugs and Mugs for a while, and then just building those relationships because they're your peers. I mean, you're
Yeah.
similar in age and stuff. So what is it about that program to you guys that's so special?
Yeah, I think for me, because they are our peers, and people will ask me sometimes, like, you're volunteering so much, and I'm like, I like live for
Love it,
Fantastic
right?
Friends.
Yeah,
I would
kind
rather
of kind of
yes,
my social life. Yeah.
Yes.
I've never like belly laughed so hard. I feel like so until some of
Totally.
our sessions. But I mean, on a more serious like level, I go to those sessions, and of course, we're the ones planning an activity or whatever
Yeah,
it may
yeah,
be.
yeah.
Like really, it's just hanging out with a group of friends, and we get this place where we are able to help them as peers with conversations I might not have, necessarily if I'm just going out with friends on a Saturday night, but being able to be that support and navigate friendships and like romantic relationships with them in the course of a session.
Yeah.
It's really cool, and it's something I valued, and I built strong relationships with people, and we've gotten invited to like birthday parties and graduation parties. And I love seeing people in the Playhouse throughout the week and asking like, how did your theater production go? Or,
Right.
Whatever it is. It's just so meaningful, and you don't necessarily get that at every volunteer opportunity where you might just be popping in and you might know some people,
Yeah.
but this has become my community,
That's
and so
awesome.
that's really special to me.
Yeah. I feel that 100%.
Yeah.
I love me some Friday Friends or
Absolutely.
Fantastic Friends. It used to be called Friday Friends in the way back in the day.
Because we would always have it on Fridays.
It was
Yeah.
always on Friday nights, and then it became Fantastic Friends. So I get in trouble for calling it.
And what's so cool about it too, and something that I really hope we can continue to expand on with that program, because I think Fantastic Friends is a is a program with a whole suite of offerings in itself. I don't think it necessarily needs to stay as just this one thing where we're bringing people together. I think it can expand, because I think, Ali, what you were saying, where there's, the friendships and things, but then there's also the relationship sides, like the romantic relationships that come out of this program, and just like, then maybe if you wanted to have something where it's like just boys night or just girls night, or like, and you could kind of just break it up and doing different things with it and have different types of events that you might attend together. I just think it's so cool, but I think it's something that we also need to get out to the world when it comes to volunteerism. I think that, you guys, you're familiar with the disability space. You guys have, Holly, you have your sister, and Claire, you've literally been around it your entire life because of your family. And I think people might think that there's this apprehensiveness to get into it, because you're like, well, I don't really know people with disabilities or with Down syndrome, so it might not necessarily be something for me. It's like, I think people just got to take the leap, and just go in, because the amount of relationships that come out of it too.
Oh my gosh.
Their
Lifelong.
families, all the people that are in the programming, and then it just it's that ripple effect where it just continues to grow, and now you're just immersed in this whole community of amazing people.
Yeah, and I think that too is what volunteering is.
That's what it's
you
all
come
about.
into volunteer because you think you're going to help people, and then you actually end up being fed and helping yourself without that even being your intent. That's absolutely what happens, especially with this population. And and those relationships. I think I can't say enough about it. I think too, with Fantastic Friends being a lot of times on the weekend, might make people think they don't want to be, but it's, it's done pretty early. Young kids can, 20 somethings can still go out afterwards and party some more, but it's just such an amazing, I'm telling you, it's more fun. It's the best happy hour time you could ever have. And I do think what I like is also raising expectations, because, I think that's something that I really respect in the volunteers, that they help to raise expectations for those adults. Because, when you have equal numbers of peers with and without disabilities, it really levels them up to where, I think.
You see social norms, and you see, you're exposed to more of, I guess, I don't know, like best practices when it comes to just being able to better acclimate into society, and being able to
appropriate behavior, because at home you're kind of allowed to do whatever you want, and then when you're with your friends who think it's silly to burp and fart, you know what I mean, then it's silly.
Which it still is sometimes.
Farts are funny, I will say. But
there's no shortage of that within my friend group, so let's not get mistaken here.
But it is so true that, like,
but in the appropriate
when
setting.
It's appropriate, yes.
Yeah.
Some new girl just sits down, you're not going to rip one because it'll make your friends laugh.
She could be impressed.
All right, fart.
Sorry, we're going off track here.
Look at Gigi's face.
Gigi's like, how do you think I won Lucas over?
She's like disgusted with us right now. Okay, you want to ask a question? Go ahead.
What's your favorite thing about each other?
About each other.
Holly's really compassionate, and is just such a nice person, and is just such a welcoming person to all. I really just enjoy every time we hang out. I can show up as whoever I am that day, and we always have a great time. We're always laughing.
I love that.
I think for me, many things, but something, if I had to pick one, it's your like acceptance of my sister, and just how like important that's obviously a non-negotiable for me in any relationship, is that like seeing and valuing my sister, who's a huge part of my life. And so, Claire's just built this amazing genuine friendship with my sister as well. And that's so cool to me to see. And I think that carries over into how we like run Fantastic Friends, and just our friendship, as well as like all the things that are important to me, she's kind of taken on too. So.
Oh, that is awesome. What is your favorite memory from one of your Fantastic Friends groups? What would be one of your favorite memories?
I think we somewhat recently we did a session. We were out. Sometimes we'll get inspired for sessions by just things we're doing, with each other. And so we were out at trivia at a local like pub, and we were like, we should do like a Saturday night just like trivia, like a bar trivia, like anyone would go out and do with their friends. And so I actually have a friend who's a trivia master, so we invited him in, which I thought was cool. It was kind of a community connection. He was amazing and worked through like all the different questions. Our group is so into Disney, so we did Disney themed trivia night.
Oh, so good.
Great idea.
Similar model, right, to how you would do it if you were out and about. But he was really good about asking questions about how things would work best for our group. We worked together to come up with some appropriate support so that everyone could participate on whatever level, like made sense for them, right? Because I'm really big on when we plan these. Everyone already belongs, and we just need to find the supports that make it, like everyone's participating and comfortable. And so we had some people had a list of pictures with like different options for each question. Some people just played the trivia straight through. And it was just such a fun night with like, we were laughing, we were having a good time. He was having a good time and made this amazing connection with a group that he had never interacted with before. And it just felt so good, and everyone just like got to engage and do something that they might not have been able to do perhaps otherwise. Cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a great idea.
It's a really good idea. As she was saying it, I'm like, can you share that? I think it would be
you might have
happy to share
Disney trivia. I think we got to bring out Grease trivia here.
Yeah. Grease trivia.
Yes.
And Shrek.
And Shrek.
Friends and Seinfeld trivia. That would be a fun one too.
Yeah.
I'll just take the
So
cake.
many options.
Yeah. No, there would be. It's a great idea. I love the idea because that's just also a program too. It's very fun, but it's also pretty like therapeutic too. I think it's really challenging. It's getting them to really start thinking and using their brains to really.
I love it.
To participate in these games. I love that idea.
Yeah.
And even my show, Chicago PD.
You want to do one for Chicago PD?
Trivia.
You might be in your
trivia for Chicago PD. GiGi would win.
You might be in your own world
She
in
would
that
win.
one. I think that you would destroy everyone, but
Yep.
we could work something.
Every
I know
character.
everything.
I know you do. Believe me.
I might have to just bring you out to bar trivia in the city to do some Chicago PD and Chicago Fire and Chicago Med trivia. Absolutely. Holly, what's your, from a sibling perspective, just your experience been like with Mia and just growing up together, and how do you think it's really impacted you as a person and morphed you into who you are today?
Yeah. I think having a sibling with a disability, with Down syndrome specifically, has been a key part of who I am.
Totally.
I mean, growing up, we have a big age difference. So I'll just say that. So, she was a lot younger than me, but still just like experiencing her growing up, especially being a little bit older, I think has taught me a lot of things like slow down in life a little bit and take life at whatever pace is needed for whatever moment with the people you're with. It's taught me to be a little bit more like open-minded and creative with all my interactions with different people, and like knowing everyone brings something to the table, and just wanting to appreciate that in people everywhere. As she's gotten older into this adult kind of phase in her life, she's 20 now, there's been moments where I'll be like out with her, like we went out and got our nails done the other day, and I will have moments where people like are unsure how to interact, and will ask me questions instead of asking her questions or things like that. So it's been a learning experience for me too, to like figure out ways to kind of support her and support other people, and learning what that can look like. In terms of, I might just like redirect the question and say, hey Mia, like, what do you think about that? When I'm bringing her along. So definitely just a lot about, how the world sees people with disabilities too, and kind of motivates me to do more in this fantastic friend space outside kind of in my own work and my career. But she's amazing person. I mean, you guys know her.
She's pretty special.
I'm constantly inspired by her every day.
She's amazing. She's amazing. And isn't that funny? Like when you look, like they're so capable. They look great. Sitting there. Ask her the question. Some lady at our gym actually said, they were like, they were like, she's working hard. She's out there. And she, like, her question, she's seen her at the gym. She's seen her sing and doing her thing. Can she actually talk? That's what she said to me. I'm like, yeah. Go say hello. Yeah, it was so odd to me. And then I said, yeah, she could talk. And I said, we have GiGi's class. And I started talking about it. I said, you should come for a tour. She goes, I can't be around people like that. It makes me want to cry. I go, oh, well, you wouldn't cry here. Like the last thing people do when they come to GiGi's is cry. Like what? Yeah.
And it's also like, lady, we're not really looking for your empathy.
No,
like
they don't need it. She doesn't need that.
Like I can tell you, if she's
Yeah.
probably doing a lot better than you are when it comes to just like how she's enjoying life
Her
right
life.
now.
Yep.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah, it was
don't think that
crazy. I
it's some
couldn't
like
believe it.
sad story. Expand your horizons a
But
little bit. Just-
yeah, it is
Joe was
interesting
cry
though.
too.
That they talk to us instead of the adults sitting next to us. That is perfectly capable
Right.
of
It's
answering.
lack of exposure.
Joe
That's
always
all it
cry
is.
too.
I do cry, but I don't cry. I
For
cry.
for the openings.
I cry.
She cries because
She
she's
loves to
proud.
come. Yeah, I cry because I'm happy when I go to the openings.
Yeah.
I do cry at every.
Sure.
You guys know that. I'm
Yeah,
a sap. I'm a
valid.
sap.
Yeah, Down syndrome is not a problem. We don't,
I
we
don't.
don't do
No.
any like of that. It's so I just in those moments try to like make that connection and
100%.
share what you can do,
Yep.
which is really
Yeah.
cool.
And Claire, I think that it's such a blessing to grow up with parents who give back and do like, because for me, my mom she led our spread group at church. And so we always had the adults with disabilities at our house for us breakfast, or we did picnics and we did all these different things. And we just always served others. It's just what we do. You know what I mean? My kids have seen me do that as I move on in my life, and it's just such a beautiful thing that we then pass on to the next people. But so many people aren't led that way, or their parents haven't done that. And that's why I think once they come in and see what it is, what volunteering really is, they're like, this is amazing. This is awesome. Like, I would rather be doing this than sitting home watching nothing. You know what I mean? And like, it's so amazing to take that step. And Claire, yeah, you were blessed to have parents that saw the value in everybody and were volunteering, and that service to others is a service to you. It will make you better. And it's just, it's so awesome. I think that's so cool, because I was in the same boat as you, that, my parents did it. So it was just a natural thing for us. And like, what a gift from God.
What do you like to do in your free time besides Playhouse?
Oh, besides the Playhouse. Okay.
We do some things, together. So we we do some volunteering outside of the Playhouse. We run a program called Young Athletes, which is like Special Olympics for the little
ones,
kids.
yeah.
In the sports, which is really fun and quite chaotic sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's a great time. We also do coaching with Special Olympics, and then I really love to play soccer. So that's been one of my things that's carried through my whole life. And we go to trivia, like I mentioned. I read a lot, which is really fun too. So
Awesome. How about you, Claire?
Yeah, I also really like to read. I like to play golf. I've played golf forever. So I do some golfing and then some volunteer coaching with golfing.
Oh, very cool.
I was in Special Olympics once too. I did track, basketball, and I forgot.
Track, basketball,
I forgot.
multiple things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Different.
tracking.
What is it?
Track and field.
Oh, track and field.
Tracking.
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 Sorry.
You're
like-
learning, she-
I thought she said jacking. I'm like,
no, track and field.
Tracking's hilarious too. She's out there. She's following the other participants around. She's looking for them, seeing their footsteps.
that's right, track and field. And actually, you had gymnastics and was also So she's definitely participated too.
If you had one message to the world, what would it be?
Yeah, I think if I had one message to the world, it would be that everyone has something to offer, and just to keep an open mind in every interaction. People with Down syndrome are so capable, but all people, bring something to offer, and it's valuable and important no matter what it is, what it looks like, whether it's, someone that has verbal skills, someone that does not have verbal skills. It's everyone brings something to the table, especially when you're creating community spaces like Fantastic Friends.
Love that.
Love that.
So good.
I think inclusion is just not that hard. I think people really overthink it, and it's really just looking around, seeing who's at the table, inviting other people in, and just having fun at the end of the day.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it.
Do you guys in the Fantastic Friends program that you guys have, is it only participants with Down syndrome, or are there people with other disabilities as well?
No, we've had people with other disabilities. We have one person who regularly comes and a couple people who have popped in throughout the years. Yeah.
Awesome.
Do you guys find it to be like pretty easy to have everyone's, even if there are varying disabilities in there, to be able to accommodate everyone and everyone's needs?
Yeah, I think so. We tell people when they ask that question, because we'll go out and table and meet people in the community,
Sure.
and they ask, about, are these programs for people with Down syndrome specifically? And we say they're designed that way with people with Down syndrome in mind, but we invite people into our space if it feels like a fit, and so we're not exclusive in that way. And so, like I said, we've had a couple people come in, and I think the key for me has been just being willing to partner with both the individual themselves, right? And that's really important, and not just the parent or caregiver, but both of them, right? Both ends. And talking through, like, if they have concerns about what that might look like, what we're doing, what we, can offer as far as supports. And, sometimes it might be a one and done conversation. Someone's coming right in. Sometimes it's been over the years. We might have something that comes up and we revisit it, to how to have the participant be the most successful in the program, and are willing to make accommodations where needed to make it possible. So I don't think we've ever had a time where it was like, didn't work out, as long as we're prioritizing that open communication and open-mindedness, to make sure we do what we need to do to support someone to be in our space, because that's important to us. So
that's beautiful. It's how it should be.
Well, and I think so many times it's the volunteers are the ones, when I think about when GiGi was little, and when we would come to open play, and like I had 3 other kids. Like, by the time you get there, and open play, which is now called something else, another, just like, I get in trouble because I think now it's destination. I'm not sure, but open play was always a time. Yeah, but it was always a time when we had food. It was always a time when to raise expectations, to make sure that they're washing their hands, to make sure, even though it's a fun, unstructured play, you still have to eat. Wash your hands, use a napkin. And I'm telling you, with 3 other kids running around, it was lucky if I washed my hands. Like, that wasn't getting done. But it was, those volunteers were so good, because like the moms were in there just trying to like breathe. And these volunteers were there. And like, I am telling you, those volunteers had her wiping her mouth, eating with a knife and fork when she wasn't at home. Like, they just raised the bar, because their level of being in that moment was so different than mine, with 3 other wild ones running around, 4 kids and the youngest having disability.
One thing at once. Yeah.
I didn't care. And at home, I don't care how messy you get when you eat. But I was so grateful for that, because you know who does care? The kids at school. And the kids at school that would be looking at her, you know what I mean? And not eating properly. So I'm so grateful to every single volunteer who's out there that takes that time with our kids, and just that giving of themselves to help others is such a gift. So when I meet, some of my best friendships have been with people that volunteer, that either volunteered and helped her, or that I volunteered with, because you're just like-minded people. You're service-minded people that just want to make the world a better place. And even, having volunteers who come in like, I don't do anything special. Like, they think it doesn't matter. Can you smile? Done. You're a volunteer. You know what I mean? Like, don't worry that you're not bringing a skill to the table. I think that's what people have said. Like, well, I don't really have anything special that I do. Yes, you do. You absolutely do. And just walk in and see where you fit. That's it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That peer-to-peer support, especially in our 18+ crowd, is so invaluable.
So invaluable.
Even coming out of, we started in COVID, we had people saying that maybe other programs got shut down and they weren't getting a lot of social interaction. And so being able to provide that space, I think, has been critical we've seen people grow in so many ways over the past 4 years. And I think, in turn, you have mentioned like kind of raising the expectations for people in that peer-to-peer space. Something that we see with the adult group is we've often have to encourage the parents or caregivers, whoever's showing up with them, that they can leave them with us.
Totally, yes.
Let them do the independent experience, and it's going to be fun. Of course, if someone has serious concerns, obviously we work through it, but getting them to trust us that we're running a program where their person is going to be supported and valued, and they can do it, and we don't have these unreasonable expectations of we as 30-somethings in 2025 understand that the young adult life is hard, right? But this is a space where they can let go a little bit. They can sit with their peers. They can have fun. We're gonna learn something in the meantime. So it's the support of those volunteers is just critical to make that possible.
I love that. It's so important.
You forgot boyfriend. You forgot that.
What? Wait. What? Put your microphone up.
You forgot to say boyfriend too. You forgot.
I don't have a boyfriend.
Me.
Oh. Well, why am I talking about your boyfriend? Hold your microphone if you want to talk about your boyfriend.
No, you forgot to say it. Boyfriends. Friends and boyfriends.
Oh, friends and boyfriends.
Yes.
Oh, because I think she likes me to say the word boyfriend, so she could say, "I have a boyfriend." Is that
Gotcha.
right?
Yes.
She just finds a way to get him into any conversation. So
Yeah.
they know about Lucas.
They
I'm
know
sure
about
they know about Lucas.
They do?
Maybe ask him.
Do
I
they-
met him one time at conference. I remember
Oh, yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
He's going again for conference.
He'll be at
again.
conference this year, and what's going to happen?
I don't know.
What happens at conference time?
Oh yeah. I forgot. November 4th. It's gonna be our 3-year anniversary.
3-year anniversary on November 4th. They're a conference couple. They met at their first date was at conference.
Yes.
Yep.
They're a
Yeah.
pumpkin patch couple.
Yes.
Really getting technical.
Well, that's where it started, but their first date.
Yes.
He
I
asked her to
Date
be her
is
girlfriend.
during-
The first
during the
date was during
conference.
conference. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Well,
How sweet.
congrats, Gigi.
Yes.
That's exciting.
So exciting. All right. So, our podcast is called A Little Something Extra. What do you guys each think is your little something extra? What drives you to be the super person that you are today?
I think my ability to have fun. Just kind
I
of bring
love that I love that.
That's a good one.
no matter what we had an Earth Day themed Fantastic Friends, and I had gone to the dump recently and taken some pictures, and so we had a presentation about our local dump, and it was ridiculous. It was fun, right?
That is awesome.
It takes someone with a superpower of knowing how to have fun to make
A dump.
going to the dump fun and talking about it. So
You're
yes,
right.
that is a good skill.
I think for me, mine is I feel like I'm a really good listener, and so that helps me navigate relationships with people in a way that, again, like values who they are and
Totally.
is supportive, and it also helps me to, like, when we're at Fantastic Friends, like, know how to get creative and like maybe adjust something on the fly. So I think both in my relationships and just the work I do, it's my superpower.
Yay.
Yeah, it's a huge one to have.
It is. So, Gigi, since you guys are such good friends, Gigi had some tips on friendship.
Did you say tips?
I did say tips.
Tips.
Woo! She's saying it today. All right, give us those tips, Gigi.
Tips on being friendships. Friendship. Sorry. Make time for your friends.
That's
Okay,
good.
make time for them.
Be interested and keep up the life.
Huge. Always stay interested. Yep.
Plan fun things together.
That's good.
Quality time.
Always be there for them.
I like that one a lot.
Be respectful and kind to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Get along with each other.
Very nice. What about you guys? Any other tips on friendships from you guys?
I really like the one you said, to be supportive of each other, because
Yeah.
I think, anything you're going through, and it's really important to show up for each other, to make time for each other, especially when you're busy. It's really important.
I
So.
love that. Well, I'm so grateful to you guys for your own friendship, but for the friendships you provide to all of our fantastic friends and to everybody that's involved with Gigi, Special Olympics, everywhere you guys are. What a blessing to have amazing volunteers like you guys. It means everything to us. I hope that this podcast will inspire more people to volunteer and not be afraid of it and just jump in, because you have no idea how much fun you're going to have or who you're going to meet, which is the best part about it.
Yes, absolutely. We hope that message comes through too, and we're so excited to be here and just chat about our experiences. So thanks so much for having us.
Yay! Well, thank you guys
Absolutely.
for
Thank you
being
guys.
on. It was great.
Everybody is born with a little something extra, and sometimes they just have to find it. A little something extra is that superpower that every single one of us has inside that motivates us and drives our passion and makes us do the things that we do.
We're all on the same team. Let's think about how we can make that team as inclusive as we can.
For those of you listening to our podcast right now, you can also check out our video podcast at alittlesomethingextrapodcast.org.